It's Saturday. And almost dinner time! What's up, baby? How you doing? Happy Wemwell's Nerd Out time. Happy birthday, Michelle Houston. This one's for you. We'll talk about her at the end. So, what I want to talk about today is why the curve of your spine is important. Representing block, sports, chiropractic, and physical therapy. Didn't plan that, just whatever. It's fun. Why is the curve important? What is the job of our spine? Well, it's to of course keep us upright and to protect the spinal cord. Those are probably the two major purposes of our spine, right? And so our spine houses this spinal cord, which then branches into other nerves. We call them spinal nerves that come off the cord, and then they branch into other nerves, controls everything in your body, trillion wires that control everything, right? So what do we think would happen if we had improper alignment, if we had excess pressure on some of these nerves, degeneration around them, inflammation of the nerves? Maybe they wouldn't function quite the same, right? Anything from numbness and tingling to muscle weakness, reduced sensation in general, all sorts of things can go wrong, right? So it's important to maintain good posture, of course, right? That's first. And the curve of your spine is like an S. Now, why is it like an S? The reason it's like an S is because take your finger like this. Here's our analogy. And press it down. How does that feel? Feels like there's a lot of stress on these joints here, right? So what if these joints, you can see it. So what if you had a little bend in it, right? It moves a little bit easier. So this S-shaped curve in our spine, we call it a lordosis. In the cervical spine, it goes this way. Then it goes back in the mid-back, and then the low back is our lumbar lordosis. It's a kyphosis in the mid-back, if you're curious where it goes back. And then the sacrum curves the other way, and the coccyx the other way, and so on. So this S shape makes for good shock absorption, this spring-like effect. So what happens over time if we have poor posture is, say you're somebody who's, reading a lot or looking down at your phone a lot, and you're going like this. What is happening to the curve, right? Well, the curve is being reduced. The curve is being reduced. And we talked about this a little when wellness before, but I want to get into why you should go for spinal correction if your curve isn't quite as it should be, right? That's minus 42 degrees in the cervicals, right? All right. So if you're doing this all the time, it makes this go like this. And now what happens? We have that same effect. So what's between the bones, aside from the nerves? Your discs, your intervertebral discs. They're that cushion, that fancy jelly-filled donut that is between each of your vertebral bones, right? So over time, if your curve is, not as it should be, right, and simple, then it's putting excess stress on those discs, and that excess pressure can cause your body to say, wait a minute, what's going on here? My discs are thinning, and I'm starting to feel a little less stable. So what am I going to do? I'm going to lay down more bone. I'm going to produce more bone to make it more stable. Okay, so what it does is produce bone and bone and bone, and it makes some bone, and it puts it in the front part of the vertebra, right? Your vertebral body. It starts there. It starts putting more bone down as you just get really thin. And degenerative disc disease is very common, right? So as we get older, typically though, it started at late 50s, early 60s, maybe the 40s. Now you see it in kids who are 20 because text neck, because they're just looking down all day, not preserving their curve, not preserving their posture, right? And that's a big problem, obviously. So you're putting all this pressure on the disc. Your body says, I need to be more stable, lays down bone. And then what it does is it lays down bone in the back part of the vertebra, the facets that interlock from segment to segment, right? So if it's laying down bone in the front, it's laying down bone in the back. Well, what we say is in between them, the cord running down, nerves coming out the sides, So if we're laying all this extra bone down, it's not natural to have all this extra bone. It is going to be pressing on the structures around it at some point. Those are your spinal nerves, or even your spinal cord. If the canal itself gets too narrow and there's severe degeneration all the time. Okay, so you see in other joints called degenerative joint disease, and you call facet arthrosis when the facets are hypertrophied, when they're really fat and they're pressing on what's in front of them. So it's very important to maintain good posture, because if you don't, you may have the onset of degenerative disc disease at a younger age, and that's not what we want for anybody, right? Okay, so here's the good news, right? Now, aside from having good posture, you can also do spinal curve correction. And so what we do, for example, and wherever you go, I hope you just, take this wherever the hell you are. It doesn't need to be with us. But we put something here that you'll lay on. We call it Denerol, and that's what it's called. And it presses in, and you lay on it for a certain amount of time each day. Then we strap the head in and pull it down, and you do that each day. And then you get to a traction machine that has a thing that pulls your neck this way and your jaw like that. And, despite it being slightly uncomfortable maybe for the 10 minutes, 12 minutes you're doing it, it is well worth it. We have fantastic results with correction of the curve. We take x-rays before and after, and we show you, as the proof is in the pudding, what the change was. Okay, now unfortunately, insurance companies don't cover this, so anywhere you go, you're going to pay out of pocket for this, but it's well worth it. What better investment than your body, your freaking health? I mean, people are so quick to buy all this other shit and then totally neglect their health. It just blows my mind. So, that's what we got for you guys today. What up, Josie? How's it? And Irene, how you doing? Irena, whatever. Hope you're having a great day. James Shop, how you doing, man? What's going on? We were just talking all about it. So before we go, we're going to say happy birthday to Michelle Houston. I hope you had a great day, Michelle. This one's absolutely for you. Had a lot of great times in our lives together, and we'll continue to have a friendship forever. I'm sure, hope. And I hope you're enjoying the day with some people you love, doing some really fun stuff. Good to see you recently. You came into the clinic, and this one is absolutely for you. So happy birthday, Michelle. You guys, have a great rest of your night, your day. Go, you do something you love to. Do something healthy and work on your posture. When you're sitting there are a few simple things you can do. You can make an effort to just sit upright, right? You can take your shoulder blades, squeeze them down and together. Squeeze them down and together. We call these scapular retractions, as you're retracting the scapula, right? You can also do chin tucks. And if you do these things, why are you doing these things? Water on my head. Why are you doing these things? Because these muscles, these deep neck flexors, longus capitis, longus coli, are generally weak in upper cross syndrome. These muscles are tight. Your pecs, your upper traps are tight. Your levator scaps are tight. Your serratus anterior are generally weaker. As an American, I call it a syndrome, but everybody freaking has it, so I don't know why. It's a syndrome if you don't have it. These muscles in the back and the middle here, your rhomboids, your middle lower trapezii, they are a little bit weaker because the way we always sit, right? So if we do these exercises, the scap retractions and chin tucks, well then over time, we're going to strengthen these muscles to the point where you don't even have to think about it. You can just sit up tall. These muscles will be tight enough in the back, they hold your shoulder blades together, right? These muscles will be strong enough here that they can keep your head upright in a neutral position, right? And we can preserve that curve and add life to years. Nobody ever needs anything except eventually air, food, water, and sleep, right? That's probably all about it. But, if you want to add life to years and and live well for a long time. Take care of yourself. This is another way you can do it. Have a great day. Happy When Wellness. We'll see you tomorrow.